The film begins with an Egyptian family enjoying themselves while returning home. The father sings cheerfully with the children, while the mother turns off the radio and tells everyone to be quiet. When they arrive home, the girl notices that her little bird has died. She begs her mother to save her bird, frightening the father and the siblings because they understand that the death was not natural. The woman takes the bird in her hands and finishes it off, then asks the children to remain inside the house. Shortly afterward, the parents descend into a catacomb hidden beneath the house and approach a stone sarcophagus. The man uses a machine to lift the lid, while the woman checks the inside and realizes that the entity has still not awakened. However, suddenly the creature awakens abruptly and frightens her. At that moment, the machine's hook comes loose and pierces the man's jaw. Before dying, he tells the woman to flee, while the entity desperately tries to escape from the sarcophagus. Later, we meet the Canaan family, composed of the father Charlie, the mother Larissa, and their two children, Katie and Sebastian. During a conversation between the couple, we discover that Larissa is pregnant with their third child. The conversation is interrupted by an argument between the children, so the two rush to calm the situation. Larissa says goodbye to the children, while Charlie remains at home taking care of them. He repairs Katie's doll and promises to give her a new one when they return home. Shortly afterward, Katie argues with Sebastian again and, frustrated with her father and brother, leaves the house. Charlie is on a business call while Katie plays alone in the yard. Suddenly, she hears someone calling her name and notices a woman on the other side of the fence. Katie asks if she is her friend Layla's mother, and the stranger replies that she is. We then realize that it is the woman from the beginning, now behaving strangely. She says that her daughter is not feeling well and asks for Katie to play with her. The girl comments that she heard the woman is magical and asks to see a trick. Meanwhile, Charlie calls Larissa to inform her that he got a job. During the conversation, he finds several candy wrappers among Katie's belongings and asks whether his wife has been giving those sweets to their daughter, but Larissa says she has not. Outside, the strange woman gives Katie a candy with the same wrapper found earlier. Katie takes the chocolate, but becomes frightened by the woman's sinister expression and says she needs to go inside. The woman asks her to wait and shows her an apple, promising it will be the best one she has ever eaten. At the same time, Charlie asks Sebastian whether he knows who gave those candies to Katie. The boy hesitates to answer, saying he promised not to tell, but eventually reveals that one of his sister's friends gives her the sweets at the end of the yard. Meanwhile, Katie accepts the apple, and the woman says she hopes Katie can forgive her. Without understanding, Katie asks what she is talking about. The woman replies that this will be her last trick and begins reciting strange words. Suddenly, a beetle emerges from the apple and quickly enters Katie's throat, causing the girl to become ill. Meanwhile, Charlie begins searching for his daughter, but realizes she is no longer there. He notices a hole in the fence and runs through the city shouting for Katie. Suddenly, he sees a woman running with something on her back and tries to catch her. However, during the pursuit, a powerful sandstorm forms. Charlie cannot catch the stranger and ends up being struck by the storm while desperately screaming his daughter's name. Later, Charlie and Larissa go to the Cairo Police Department to report Katie's disappearance. At the same time, we meet Officer Zaki, who is responding to an incident until she is interrupted by her chief, who asks for her help translating the couple's testimony. In the interrogation room, the couple hands over a family photo while the officers examine it. The chief observes them and says he has never seen them there before, beginning to suspect the two. He claims they may have accidentally killed their daughter and are now trying to cover up the crime. Irritated, Charlie asks whether he really thinks he does not understand the language. Furious, he assures them they would never do anything to their daughter and insists that she was kidnapped. 8 years later, the family has returned home in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Larissa is in Katie's old bedroom when her daughter Maudie appears calling for her. Later, during dinner, Sebastian says he wants to participate in the school trip. When questioned, he complains that the family has not taken a vacation in a long time and asks when the last time was that they did. Larissa tries to end the subject, but he insists, saying she is afraid he will disappear like Katie. Furious, Sebastian declares that he is not Katie and leaves the table, leaving everyone in silence. In the Egyptian desert, a young man stops his bicycle after the chain falls off. He hears a plane crash nearby and decides to investigate. At the scene, he finds bodies and, in panic, tries to flee, but ends up discovering the entity's sarcophagus. The sarcophagus is taken to an archaeologist for analysis and study. Upon opening it, they find the body of a mummified child and continue the study without knowing about the disappearance. During the removal of the wrappings, we discover that it is Katie. They take photographs until she suddenly awakens and panics, frightening everyone. Meanwhile, the family is arriving at a pizzeria when they receive a call from the United States Embassy in Cairo. They inform them that Katie has been found alive, leaving them overjoyed. They return to Cairo after 8 years to reunite with Katie. At the hospital, the couple discovers that the girl suffered severe skin damage and is behaving strangely. During the reunion, Katie reacts aggressively, forcing the doctors to remove the parents from the room. Later, Dahlia Zaki reveals that she was found inside a sarcophagus. Intrigued, Charlie questions the reason, and Zaki explains that this is common in human trafficking to avoid detection. Charlie recalls the suspicions raised in the past, but Zaki states that the theory belonged to the former chief. Irritated, Charlie says he hopes she will do a better job than he did, and Zaki promises that she will. Later, Katie is introduced to the rest of the family, leaving everyone frightened by her appearance. Katie is taken to her room, where Carmen says a prayer, and Madi tries to introduce herself to her sister. Larissa asks Sebastian to talk to Katie, but he says he does not recognize her. Disturbed by the prayer, Katie reacts violently and needs to be sedated again. During the night, Madi looks for her brother, frightened by the growling sounds coming from her sister's room. He tries to reassure her, saying Katie only needs rest, but the girl reminds him that she still needs sedatives to calm down, leaving her brother thoughtful. Meanwhile, Charlie investigates the sarcophagus, and Larissa tries to help Katie recover her memory, but fails. Later, Madi wakes up because of loud noises coming from the house and wakes Sebastian. At first, he believes they are coyotes, but he ends up hearing the sounds too and becomes frightened. At the same time, Charlie goes to Katie's room and discovers that she has disappeared. The banging on the walls becomes stronger and stronger, so Sebastian grabs a bat after realizing that something is inside them. When the couple enters the room, the boy warns them about the noises, and Larissa opens a secret door in the wall. Something runs past, causing her to enter the hidden space, where she finds Katie devouring a rat in the corner. The girl quickly flees, while Charlie tries to catch her from the other side of the house. The parents manage to find her, but are horrified when Katie captures and devours a live scorpion. While they try to make her vomit what she ate, Sebastian witnesses the entire scene in shock. In the morning, Charlie finds coyotes growling at the house, as if they can sense the evil present there, leaving the family confused. Later, he asks the children to keep Katie a secret. However, Sebastian questions what they did to his sister, and Charlie admits that he does not know. While Larissa and Carmen try to care for Katie's appearance, Charlie reinforces the house's security. Later, he finds feces hidden in his daughter's room, while Larissa notices that the girl's skin is beginning to peel off. Charlie hears the screams and rushes to help them, finding the two lying on the floor. Desperate, Larissa warns that Katie has disappeared again, causing Charlie to search through the house for his daughter. He follows blood trails into a room where he finds Katie self-harming. Later, Larissa treats Katie's wounds while Charlie watches her worriedly. He says they need to find another place for Katie, fearing that she may hurt someone. Larissa becomes outraged and says she can take care of her own daughter. However, Charlie insists that they need to discover what happened to the girl in order to help her. During the argument, he admits that he was careless on the day of the disappearance, but questions how Larissa never noticed that Katie had a secret friend in the yard. Shaken, she asks Charlie to leave them alone and locks herself in Katie's room. While cleaning Katie's mess, Charlie notices hieroglyphs hidden beneath his daughter's skin. Intrigued, he seeks help from the archaeologist Bixler and shows him the symbols he found. The professor is frightened when he realizes the hieroglyphs are thousands of years old and asks where Charlie got them. However, Charlie avoids explaining and simply asks for help translating the symbols. During the night, while taking care of Katie, Charlie seems compelled to write in ancient Egyptian. After translating the message, he discovers that it is the name Layla. Charlie calls Dahlia Zaki and reveals that he obtained the name Layla through Katie. The officer asks whether anyone with that name tried to contact them after the girl's disappearance. This causes Charlie to remember the letters sent to the family. While searching for the letters, Maudie has to pass by her sister's room to go to the bathroom. On her way back, she hears someone singing and realizes it is Katie, who asks her to keep a secret and says she is her favorite. Frightened, Maudie tries to flee, but the mummy uses its powers to make her levitate. Then it pulls the girl toward the door and begins reciting strange words. Meanwhile, Charlie finds a letter sent by Layla, in which she says she is sorry for what was done to Katie. He then sends the photos to Zaki, who begins an investigation. Zaki and another officer analyze a map of the region and connect the area to the plane crash. During the investigation, they discover a nectarine farm isolated in the middle of the desert, which raises suspicions. Charlie visits Professor Bixler, who identifies the symbols as hieratic and notices the repetition of the name Nazmaranian on the strips. He shows a recording about an ancient Egyptian entity. It was described as a dark force that sowed discord and destroyed families. According to the legend, this entity disappeared after being sealed by an ancient ritual. Bixler warns him that the strips may be words of protection against this force. The creature takes control of Maudie's body and begins causing discord at school. Meanwhile, Zaki goes to the farm to investigate and tries to enter, but finds the place locked and breaks in through the back. Inside, she discovers a secret entrance connected to a pyramid-shaped structure. In the basement, she finds signs that the sarcophagus had been there and becomes frightened. As she leaves, she is confronted by Katie's kidnapper, who ends up being shot after reacting. Soon afterward, Zaki finds Layla, now a teenager, who flees upon seeing her, but is pursued and eventually hands over a box containing a cassette tape with Katie's name on it. Charlie returns home with the children, and during the drive, Sebastian notices Maudie's strange behavior, but Charlie asks him not to tell their mother anything, saying she is already overwhelmed. At home, Larissa finds signs in the basement that Charlie has started an investigation into the case. In Katie's room, Carmen says a prayer for her when she is attacked by the entity. She ends up locked inside the room and suffocated, then thrown from the second floor. She falls onto Charlie's car and then has her body attacked by coyotes, while Charlie is prevented from helping her. Maudie reacts disturbingly to the incident, while Larissa mourns her mother's death. Zaki listens to the recording tape, but realizes she cannot hear the woman and tries to increase the volume. Unable to do so, she steps away to get the remote and, upon returning, begins hearing her clearly. The woman states that innocent children are the best targets because their bodies last longer, but any living human can serve. She then announces the beginning of the ritual, leaving Zaki shocked as she listens to the tape. Furious, Zaki goes to the interrogation room to question Layla and demands answers about the tape. She asks what is happening, but Layla remains silent, irritating Zaki. At that moment, Layla reveals that her tongue was cut out. Shocked, Zaki asks whether her own mother did that to her, and Layla confirms with a nod. Even so, Layla manages to whisper and says that she once tried to tell the truth and was punished. Zaki asks what the truth is, and Layla replies that Katie should never have been taken out of the box. Zaki then asks what exactly she is talking about. She hands her a pen and paper, and Layla begins writing. Upon reading the contents, Zaki becomes extremely terrified and tries to call Charlie, but he does not answer. Meanwhile, Carmen's funeral takes place, and Larissa asks her son to call his father. Charlie leaves Sebastian watching the entity while he goes downstairs to speak with Larissa. She says she no longer wants her in the house, and Charlie thinks she is referring to her mother's body. However, she reveals that she is talking about Katie, leaving him surprised. At the same time, Sebastian begins hearing knocks and approaches the door to investigate, but gives up after hearing Katie's voice. She begs her brother to free her, but he ignores her, runs to his room, and puts on headphones. Even so, the entity begins tormenting him in several ways, causing the boy to fall into despair. At the same time, Maddie pulls out her own teeth one by one until her mouth is empty. She also notices movement on the roof and realizes that it is the entity trying to escape. Meanwhile, Maddie goes to her grandmother's body and removes the stitching from her mouth, as if searching for something hidden there. Then she returns to her parents and reveals that she took her grandmother's teeth. Soon afterward, she brutally attacks a man, leaving the two horrified. Charlie runs to restrain her, while the entity moves across the ceiling and throws itself onto the coffin. The demon desecrates Carmen's body, and Larissa, furious, attacks it. The coffin falls to the ground, and Katie licks a dark liquid leaking from the woman's body, leaving everyone terrified and disgusted. During the night, Charlie ties Katie to a chair and begins watching over her. We also discover that the entity can control Sebastian, causing him to hurt himself. Meanwhile, Larissa packs Maddie's things and says they are going to a safe place. Maddie asks whether Katie is coming too, but Larissa, stressed, tells her to stop asking questions. The doorbell rings and Charlie notices it, but decides to deal with other concerns first. Larissa and Charlie go downstairs and find Zaki, who brought the tape for them to watch. She shows them the material and translates the message, explaining that the creature must be contained again. According to the recording, it is a mummification ritual repeated 82 times in which the old host is weakened and must be replaced by a new one. The ritual then begins while Charlie and Larissa watch the tape in shock and agony. Meanwhile, the entity asks Sebastian for help removing the protective seals, and, under its control, he begins removing the barriers containing the creature. The couple watches in tears while their daughter is possessed and partially restrained by the seals. The tape ends and everyone is horrified, with Zaki stating that the thing should remain imprisoned. Suddenly, Larissa leaves the room and Zaki asks Charlie whether he is not going after her, but he remains silent and she decides to go upstairs alone. Zaki notices Larissa trying to enter the room and decides to help her. Meanwhile, the mummy, now completely free, uses its powers to summon a sandstorm. Charlie remains paralyzed until he hears noises and realizes it is Carmen, fully possessed, asking whether he wants to celebrate. He ignores her and runs to help the women when he sees the mummy floating before them. It descends to the floor and attacks him, while Larissa and Zaki try to help. During the confrontation, the entity throws the two women away and Zaki hits her head on the floor. The creature attacks Charlie brutally again, while Larissa tries to help and notices Sebastian standing in front of her. The entity locks the two inside the room and returns to attack Charlie, who manages to fight back and drive it away. Everyone begins being attacked by the entities while the mummy pursues Charlie. At the same time, Zaki is attacked by Carmen. The demon spits out a scorpion and forces her to swallow it, and Zaki reacts by pushing the creature away, but ends up having her throat pierced by the animal's stinger. Even wounded, she fights for her life, tears out the scorpion, and drags herself upstairs. Meanwhile, Larissa manages to sedate Sebastian and puts him to sleep. Charlie meets Zaki while she climbs the stairs and asks her to remember the ritual words. Then he leads her to the room and asks her to open the door, allowing the creature to enter. After that, the entity lunges at Charlie, who begins to be brutally attacked. Zaki, struggling to speak, covers her throat with her hand and begins the ritual. Larissa reappears and sees the scene, while Charlie apologizes for what he has to do, but says it is necessary. The entity is then transferred into him, and he collapses beside Katie. The girl wakes up and recognizes her mother, but asks about her father. In tears, Larissa only watches Charlie's body lying on the floor. Sometime later, Katie speaks with her father, now trapped inside the sarcophagus. Larissa appears and calls her daughter, saying that her siblings need her. Katie joins them and seems happy, while Larissa watches them, though she remains devastated by Charlie's loss. Consumed by the desire for revenge, she decides to help Charlie and calls Zaki, who agrees to the plan. The two women go to the psychiatric hospital where Layla's mother is hospitalized. Larissa sedates the woman and reveals herself as Katie's mother, leaving her in panic. Soon afterward, Zaki arrives bringing Charlie in a wheelchair, and the woman becomes terrified. The entity watches the woman while Zaki locks the door. The two women begin the transfer ritual, and the woman's screams echo throughout the place. Thus, the film ends.